Hello, my friend. What you're about to hear is not a legend, not a fantasy, not even the hallucination of a madman. It's a documented historical fact that continues to terrify historians, physicians, religious scholars, and ordinary people. This is the story of how a city fell under the spell of an invisible rhythm, of how a dance, instead of bringing joy, delivered death, of how the body betrayed the mind and the soul seemed to slip away. This is the story of the dancing plague. Welcome to Strasbourg. The year is 1518, and try not to dance. The sun was barely rising when a woman named Frau Trophaea stepped out of her house. The streets were silent. The city slept. But she did not. She rose as if in a trance, her face pale, her eyes vacant, her movements stiff. And then she began to dance. No music, no joy, no reason. Her body jerked and twisted as if pulled by invisible strings. She danced for minutes, then hours, and then days. At first, the neighbors watched with curiosity, then horror, then they joined in. Within a week, dozens took to the streets, moving as if possessed. Some cried while dancing, some screamed, some stared into the sky with tortured faces, but none could stop. The city lost its peace. Church bells rang, warning of divine punishment. Mothers shut windows, children hid in cellars. The dancing plague crept through Strasbourg like a shadow. By the end of the month, over 400 people were dancing, non-stop, until their feet bled, until exhaustion gripped their bones, until some of them dropped dead where they stood. People died, dancing. Doctors were helpless. Their diagnosis? Overheated blood. Their treatment? Dance more to sweat it out. So the city built a stage. Yes, a real stage with musicians. Imagine that. You're dancing yourself to death, and they bring in a flutist. Was this just a sickness? The more we look into it, the more it seems like something beyond logic. Something otherworldly. Some believed it was ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye and causes hallucinations and seizures. A natural version of LSD. But why only Strasbourg? Why only dancing? Others thought it was mass hysteria, a psychological escape from the despair of famine, war, and plague, a city so broken it snapped into a collective trance. But here's the thing, they all had the same expressionless, empty gaze, as if staring into eternity. Then came the mystics. People whispered of Saint Vitus, a patron saint believed to curse sinners with uncontrollable dancing. The phenomenon even earned the name Saint Vitus dance. Some claimed a cult in the nearby forest practiced ritualistic dances. Those who joined them never returned, or returned different. Witnesses described shadowy figures in black watching the dancers from the alleyways. Still, silent, gone in the blink of an eye. It was madness, but structured madness. Too synchronized, too precise, as if something was conducting them, just out of sight. Could this have been something darker? A force feeding off fear and desperation? Desperate for answers, the city turned to faith. Dancers were taken to a shrine of Saint Vitus in the town of Saverne. Some collapsed on the way. Those who arrived simply stopped. No explanation, no words, just stillness. The plague ended as mysteriously as it began, as if something had fed enough and drifted back into the shadows. But it wasn't the only time. In the 13th century, over 100 children disappeared in Germany, dancing into the mountains. In 1962, a laughter epidemic struck a school in Tanzania, lasting months. In Korea, a wave of spiritual possession overwhelmed an entire convent. The mind is the most dangerous landscape, and when something stirs deep within it, it can awaken forces we cannot name. The dancing plague isn't just a strange historical event, it's a mirror. In it, we see ourselves, our fear, our need to escape. Maybe those people didn't go mad. Maybe they simply fled into rhythm, into motion, into a trance that shielded them from the unbearable. But what if that rhythm is still here? What if next time it starts not in an old city, but right here, in yours? Thank you for listening. If this story gave you chills, leave a like so the algorithm doesn't pull you into the rhythm. Subscribe to the channel because here we speak of the things most people are afraid to even remember. If you want more strange and terrifying tales from history, leave a comment below and tell me what you want to explore next. I'll return with a new legend very soon. And until then, listen to the silence, because every dance starts with silence.